alongside the senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. He's Michael Langston. My name is Tom Lang. I'm the director of original content right here at Warchant.com and Warchant TV, and we'll get through the particulars first. Let's get through the housekeeping, Michael. You got to hit the like button right underneath this video. It's underneath Michael. If you're on YouTube, there it is. It's right there. It's big thumbs up. Mash it. If you have not hit the subscribe button yet to our channel, what are you waiting for? Please do hit the subscribe button and the bell right next to it. You'll be alerted every time we bring you news like this, recruiting news, or live shows, or other team coverage, other specialty coverage right here at Warchant TV. We're your ultimate Seminole sports source for a reason. Thank you for your support. So, Michael, we gather because of a tweet. Such resistance of the recruiting world, but it's an important one because it's good news for the Noles. Travis Hunter, the all-everything ATH, says, guys, cool off again. Your thoughts as, once again, Travis Hunter has to reiterate that he is firmly committed to Florida State.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like I get it. Schools are going to try to poach whatever you have. FSU has a really good recruiting class, and certainly no one bigger than Travis Hunter because he's a generational talent. But at the same time, Travis has made it very clear through this whole process that he is 100%. He's FSU, and certainly I understand people are going to freak out because he went to a Georgia game, and then people know that the season hasn't gone as well, but this kid's been locked in, and I've said this as simple as I can. It's like he really likes Norvell. He really wants to be a part of the change. He's extremely close to Marcus Woodson, as you can see in the tweet where he's got a picture of him and Woodson. I mean, as long as Woodson's there and I think Norvell's there, I don't see that changing. I think he is very sold on what he's going to do. He's going to be used on offense. He's going to be used on defense. Certainly, they could use him the most on offense because receivers is not exactly a strength for FSU. But I think this kid's really locked in to change and being a part of the change that really takes FSU to a different level and a consistent level on the field. And he's been committed to that. He hasn't said anything that makes you like, oh, okay, he's a wait and no, it's no wait and see. It's like he knows, this is where he wants to be. I know it's not going to make people feel good until he actually signs the letter of intent or enrolls or whatever, but that's been my stance from the start. I even checked on it even 2 or 3 more times in the last 24 hours, and FSU is not concerned at all with where he stands with their commitment. They feel very strongly about it, and I think both him and AJ have been the guys from the start that it's like, we want the change, we want to be a part of the change. And it's like everything that Norvell said in that passionate speech where Corey Clark, which everyone should give a lot of love for Corey for answering that question because he really let the passion come out in Norvell, and you see why this guy is such a good recruiter. And all the recruits and the commits, I've chatted with them a lot. They all watch that, and that kind of just really explains why they committed to FSU as far as what Norvell is talking about. Like, look, I'm excited about guys that said yes. I'm guys that excited about they want to be a part of this change, and we see that already where it's starting to develop. Started to show a little bit in the Syracuse game, and then the North Carolina game it really came out. So I think a lot of kids are bought into that, and I think that game alone was a dramatic shift to these commits feeling much more confident and comfortable about what they're coming into.
Yeah, I think one of the key moments in the postgame, you learned about it. We learned about it within a minute or two of it happening. IG Live, you got Jarvis Brownlee and others interacting with the aforementioned Travis Hunter in the locker room. I don't think he signs in or accepts that invitation without, feeling really strongly about a team that just won its second football game in that program. And you're right, Michael. Corey does deserve a lot. What you could do for Corey right now is like this video. That's what
there you go.
There you go. This video right here. You did mention A.J. Duffy, too. That's a heck of a segue and a heck of a tease because right now on warchant.com, we'll make sure that we link it at the end of this video. You have a Q&A with A.J. Duffy, the signal caller in the 2022 class for Florida State. So we can read the Q&A, but between the lines, as you're interacting with A.J., what kind of a kid is he? And obviously he's come from the West Coast or Arizona out to IMG Academy. But talk to me about the kid. Because commitment doesn't mean the same thing to a lot of people, but it sounds like it means what it's supposed to in the definition or in the dictionary rather for A.J. Duffy.
Yeah, and I'll say this in case AJ's watching. AJ sat on the phone with me for 19 minutes. I mean, it was a 19-minute interview. So AJ answered everything, and every time I reached out to AJ, which I think we did another interview with him probably about 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks, he is so forthright and honest and direct, and what I love about him as a kid is just I see a confident kid to what he does, the way he prepares, the way he's organized, and I see why they wanted this kid so bad, why he was the number one guy, because he has the exact mindset that Norvell's looking for in his locker room as his quarterback, as his leader. Everywhere, and we even discussed this with AJ, it's like everywhere AJ's been, he's never not been the starter. Like he has won the job. Like, I mean, you're talking about going to IMG and winning a job against some of the best players in the country. And he did it in 1 year, bam, he's there, he's the starter. I mean, he just has a infectious personality. He's not a big yeller. He doesn't like scream at guys, or he just very players connect with him. And I think AJ said something that was really unique, and I thought it really hit me when he said it. Is when you're talking to guys and leading guys, you can't approach them the same way. Every guy is a different personality of how you can get a response the way you're looking for a response. And AJ's very good at connecting with players. Phenomenal kid. Very straightforward and direct about his feelings and stuff. He also doesn't like if a recruit tells him something. He doesn't tell you. He doesn't want the media to go. Let the recruit speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And he's very good at doing that. And that's why so many guys trust the guy. That's why he's really good friends with Kevin Coleman. He's really good friends with Travis Hunter. He's really good friends with all these guys because it's not just football. It's a personality trait that he has that not a lot of guys have, that he's going to be very infectious in that locker room. And I asked him directly. I was like, it's like, what's kind of the plans when you're in early? It's like, I want to go in there. I want to learn. I want to impact the way at the team in any what possible way, as far as a positive way. I was like, and go for the starting job, right, AJ? He's like, oh yeah, that's 100%, because that's his mindset. When he goes in there, he thinks he's the best quarterback around. He thinks he's the best player. And I generally believe that when he comes in here, he generally believes he's going to win the job. I mean,
Well,
that's
that's what this program needs, Michael, is more alphas like that. And, there are a lot of coaches around the country that don't understand that you reach players in different ways. Everybody's different. Some coaches are
mhm.
hard headed and it's my way or the highway. So that's good to hear that he has a lesson that maybe most of us learn in our 20s or 30s, and he already has it as a teenager. So, one final question before we go. You brought up the Mike Norvell speech, the answer from the question to Corey Clark, and then the game against North Carolina. The speech was cool because we've seen that Mike Norvell behind the scenes, be it at a camp or a practice or in games. Sometimes even before he goes live with the media. You remember opening day of fall camp, he yelled 20 seconds at all of us, like we were like, oh God, all right, here we go. Then he goes to the podium and it's like boom, PR mode. It's not that fiery Mike Norvell. Well, we got to see that guy when the tape was rolling, which was cool. But my question is, which moment do you think was more impactful to retaining this class or solidifying commitments? Was it the speech at the podium or the performance in Chapel Hill?
I think you have to say both of them, because it was a combination, because one feels off the other.
Mhm.
You know, that speech is great, but if you don't follow it up with your kids and seeing development and growth, um, how far is it going when connecting with kids? Um, Another thing AJ told me in our interview was Norvell's the same no matter when he talks to them. They lose a game, they win a game. He is the same energy and leader that no matter what the situation is, Norvell's the same. We've seen that. I remember the first night I was up there at June 1st for the Midnight Madness, and Norvell screams, "Open for business!" It opens the door. It's just like his energy is infectious, and it's not just a. This isn't a fake thing. I mean, this is how he is all the time. You guys see it at practice. He's the same way. He is always. He knows everything that's going on with his team. I think it's. But the question, I think, the combination was the speech was great. You're like, man, that jacks me up. And then the North Carolina game happens, and then you see how that speech reflects on his players. And then you're seeing growth as we're watching it right there, just watching these guys like we've seen it all year. Pokey's dropping passes or dropping punts, and then Jordan's not making the right read, or the coach is not putting him in the right maybe the play that they want. This game, everything was in sync. Everything was clicking. Travis is making big runs when you need to. Read options, obviously the catch by Pokey, 2 touchdowns. Big plays that you see now. The execution. Jerry and Jones, FSU isn't getting picks. Now all of a sudden they're in position to make plays and they're making plays, and that's kind of what he's kind of told them, that it's going to be a grind and a growth to whatever we do. And so that message was perfect. Again, I guys, hit the like button for Corey Clark, because that was big. That was a big moment in this era for the Norvell's coaching staff. And then to follow it up with 2 straight wins, and not just a win against North Carolina. They controlled that game. That was a butt kicking. I mean, it's a 10-point win, but that was a controlled win by FSU. And that's the big takeaway I have. Is like, wasn't just they won, they actually went in there and controlled the game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A team that's not bought in can't do what Florida State has done since they went and started 0-4. You have to be bought in to be able to get to the place you are. And to recap, Travis Hunter says, guys, stop. I'm still bought in. Everything's fine. A.J. Duffy told you in your Q&A on warchant.com, I'm bought in. I'm wanting to be one of the figures that turns this thing around. Florida State in general, as we hit the bye week into UMass next week, things feel better around here. So let's continue the positive momentum. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps Noles who are looking for great Florida State content find us here at Warchant TV. For Michael Langston, the senior recruiting analyst at warchant.com, my name is Tom Lang. We'll talk to you guys on Warchant TV next time.